Hello, and welcome to episode 4 of Everyday Scent. My name is Dave Kruse. I am so thrilled you have joined us for another conversation of what does this mean to live scent right where you're at. And so we are wrapping up our 4-week series on our mission. Today, I have brought in 2 fabulous guests, Mr. Jimbo Harrell, our new college minister. Hey, Jimbo.
Hey.
All you got is, hey.
Hey, Dave. How are you?
I'm great, Jimbo. It's so good to see you today.
Yeah.
Thanks for taking time. Jimbo did not know where the podcast room was, and this is his first time on a podcast, he says.
Right.
And to his left is our new podcast host of Little Lights with Miss Christie, launched a couple weeks ago. Hey, preschool parents, if you haven't checked this out, we have the next Miss Rachel in the making here. No? Yes?
Come on now.
Come on now. Hey, Christy, glad you're with us.
Thank you.
Christy's our preschool director when she is not out there making just earth-shattering YouTube videos for preschool families, and she is killing me in her head right now. It is good. So we wanted to wrap up this series on Living Scent. We've had Pastor Andy here talking about just the overarching mission of First Baptist. We had Sarah Joy and Stevie here for week 2 talking about why following Jesus is the first step, not the last step. We had Nathan Taylor, our missions pastor here, just talking about what does it mean to engage people, hospitality, how do you open up your lives and your homes and to people, and how do you overcome some of the challenges. And so today, we want to talk to the 2 of you more about what does it mean to live on mission where you're at. And so when we say mission, we're not necessarily saying you're going across the world. We're talking more, hey, how do you live scent where you're at? And so both of you have unique journeys in terms of your in time here in Starkville. Jimbo, tell us a little bit about your time.
Yeah. So I moved here in 2021, and I graduated in 23, and then I did a year and a half residency, and then I moved to New Orleans for a year, and now I'm back.
And now you're back.
Yeah, I just got here in July.
So you have come and gone
and I'm back
and come back, and hopefully you're staying for a while.
Right. Hopefully so. Yeah,
that is the hope.
plan. I don't want to move anymore.
You're tired of moving. That's fair. I'm sure Savannah, your wife, is also tired of moving.
Right.
So,
yeah.
All right. And Christy, your story's a little different. How long have you and your family been in Starkville?
So I'm going to show a little bit of my age here.
I'm still older than you. I'm still older than you, Christy.
But my husband and I both went to Mississippi State and graduated. Oh, man, that was probably almost 20 years ago. And then we decided we didn't want to leave. And so we stayed here and became members of First Baptist. That was 14 years ago because we've been married for 14 years. So we have been here almost 2 decades.
2 decades,
Yeah.
and you don't look like you're that old at all.
Well, thanks.
You're great.
Thank
You're
you.
great. And so 2 very different perspectives. Just for mine, I've been here in Starkville for 18 months.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, Franklin for 5, Cookville for 14, and then a whole bunch of other places.
Had you ever visited Starkville before?
Once.
Oh.
Once. Early in my marriage, Melissa brought me here because she's a
that's
state
right,
grad.
that's right.
And she brought me because she was just like, I want to share all of it. State was not in session. It was a very boring journey through the campus. Ghost town. Good way of putting it. So
Yeah.
I was like, I don't see what the hype's about. I do now. So it's good. So here we are. So let's talk about this. Jimbo, you work with a demographic in college that, hey, usually they come from anywhere between, well, depending on how long they stay in college, 1 year if they're not great students, up to 20 years if they're professional students, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
really, most of them are here between 4 and 6 years.
Yeah.
Just depending on what they're doing. So you're working with a demographic that is not really going, hey, this is my long-term landing spot. So how do we talk with people about who may not be looking at a location going, this is my long-term location? How would you encourage them? How would you engage a college student to think through, hey, you're here for a season. Let's make the most of this season. Talk with me about that. What might you encourage them in?
I think the biggest thing is like wanting to make an impact.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, almost like wherever you walk, you leave a footprint. So, not that it's about us, but about like where I go, I want to make an impact because I'm an ambassador of Christ. So, if I'm there, I'm going to do whatever I can to reach those around me, because I may not be there tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, honestly, that's kind of how Savannah and I felt after we left New Orleans. We didn't realize we were going to leave. And then whenever we left, we were like, man, did we take advantage of the time we had while we were there?
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that's yeah. And a lot of times you don't think about that till you're
Until
leaving.
it's too late, right?
And so to go in with that mindset. So part of the thing though is, hey, if I'm only here for a short season, let's say I'm a transfer student and I know I've got 2 years.
Right.
How would you encourage them to lean into being intentional with their time? What might they need to consider?
Go to every event that you can. Like go and meet people. Go and make friendships. A lot of the people that came to our wedding that were outside of our family were people we met in college in that short season. You know,
Right.
like they're our lifelong friends now. I would encourage hey, just go and make friends. Like have the awkward conversations. Meet somebody that maybe you wouldn't have met. You know.
Yeah.
Fumble over your words. Like that's okay.
Yeah.
You know?
That's fair. All right, Christy, so you've been here a little longer than Jimbo.
Well, I actually want to touch base on what Jimbo, his unique opportunity, but I have an even more unique opportunity. And the fact that, and I'm going to steal your thunder just a little bit, but
Go ahead.
I love the fact that I get to work with college students that are here just for a short period of time. And to see how they automatically come with a servant's heart. It's
Yeah.
like, it feels like, and they are all about the mindset of living on mission, because I get to see that in the preschool ministry, because these college students pour into these kids and think, hey, I'm going to love them while I've got them and stuff. And where can I get plugged in? Whether that's the preschool ministry, the college ministry, wherever it may be. I love the fact that they are gung-ho, ready to serve and stuff in knowing that short amount of time that they get here. So kudos to that age and stuff, and being so on fire for living on mission. So the rest of us adults, older adults, can learn a little bit from that.
I feel like you just want us to call you old. Is that what you're really trying to get us to
Yes.
say? Okay, that's good.
Wise.
Wise, definitely. I'll go with that. So you and Jason have been here 20-ish years.
Mm-hmm.
You obviously have some roots. Your kids are in school here. Off air we were talking. There's no foreseeable future of leaving unless Jason gets just an amazing job, or kids graduate, and that's still years away. And
Yeah. So
things like that.
a little side note, Jason said he made me agree if we got married that I would be willing to move, to Washington or something like that.
Yeah.
Dave, I am so thankful the Lord has not called us to Washington or
pretty sure
anywhere else, because
I'm pretty sure I told Savannah the same thing about moving overseas.
Yeah.
So.
and we've not at this time in our lives been called overseas and stuff.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that you mentioned roots,
Yeah.
because it makes me think of an acorn, and I wished I had one to show you all how small an acorn is.
Mm-hmm.
But if we think of that in the way that we can live on mission, and we plant that acorn into the ground, what's it do? If it's in fertile soil, then it's going to grow roots.
Yes.
It's going to plant itself where it's at, and then it's going to grow slow and steady. And then what does it do when it grows up?
Messes up your yard.
Well,
It drops more acorns.
I love collecting.
Is that what you're going to say?
Come on now, stick with me. Anyway, it's going to multiply itself
right.
and stuff right where it's planted. And so I think it's important that we don't discredit the smallness of where God has us planted, but to be fruitful and multiply as God commanded.
Yeah, and I think that's it. And that's really the heart of all of it. Whether you're a short-term person, hey, I'm only in this community for a couple years, or, man, God's had me here for 30, 40, 50 years. It really comes down to the heart of, I'm just going to thrive, grow, minister where God has put me. I mean, you've both alluded to that in a lot of ways. And so how do we, though, like I'm thinking on the short-term person who is like, well, I'm only here for a short season. I'm not sure what my step is. Or flip side, someone who's been here for 20 plus years who's like, I don't even know where to go meet people because I've got the same circle. How do I do ministry in both of these unique contexts? So, Christy, we'll start with you. Someone who's been in a community for 20 plus years, how might you encourage them to really look for those opportunities? What are those things that maybe they just don't, they've been here so long, they've got their blinders on, they've got the routine set, they've got their social circle. How might we encourage that person to maybe spread out a little bit?
So I think it's all about praying first for to have eyes for those people in those areas and stuff where God has us seeking out those people and stuff outside of our circles. So our children are involved in, so like Briggs is involved in sports. So it's not just focused on the game, but really that can be our mission field too.
Yeah.
So who's those adults that we may not know and may not go to church, we don't know, but go strike up a conversation just on the ball field, because it's not just about playing ball. It's about those conversations and making those connections, developing those relationships, which is the coolest thing about being here long term. You really can dive deep into relationships and then branch out from there.
So someone that's been here long term, they're willing to make these steps to discover people, but you approach engaging people with the gospel in a long-term setting a little different than maybe a short-term setting. Like if I know I'm only here for 2 years, I'm not going to be as concerned about, do I have a quality relationship formed? But someone who might be here a while is like, hey, I may have to see this person on a regular basis. What steps might that person need to take then for getting comfortable with, hey, I want to engage this person with the gospel, invite them to come along with me as I'm following Jesus. That is our mission. What are those challenges? What are those considerations that person might need to consider, think through, overcome? And Jimbo, we're going to come to you with these questions in just a second, so be chewing on it. And if you have something to add in, jump in. But, as you guys think on that, as you and Jason go through life, you're at the ball game watching Briggs, you're at the dance recital watching Molly, those kind of things. What might those families need to be thinking through of, well, I'm going to see this family again next week. How do I develop that relationship that gives me the freedom to share my faith?
So, right. I think it's all about intentional friendship. So it's developing that relationship first before we ever maybe mention anything about the gospel and stuff. And it's just having general conversations. Hey, do you want to meet up for coffee? And just creating that bond first. And then I think that opens the door for trust in a relationship. And maybe it's confiding in that person or allowing that person to be able to confide in you and stuff, wherever that may be, whatever life's challenges may bring. And then it's about introducing the truth or going even deeper if they already have a relationship with Christ.
Yeah, that makes sense. Jimbo, let's talk about it for just a few seconds. Same considerations. You got a college student, a young professional, maybe in their first job in their career. They're here for a season. How do they need to maybe consider approaching relationships in such a way that, hey, I earn the opportunity to share my faith, to invite someone to follow Jesus also, but knowing, hey, my time frame for that is not 20 years, it may be 20 months.
Right. Yeah. I think, it's very strategic. It's I think very rarely do we look at our friendships and even I guess just whatever relationship you may have with somebody, whether they're like your coworker or somebody that you, maybe the same guy you see at the coffee shop every time you go. We very rarely think of those in strategic terms.
Yes.
But if we're going to live missionally where we are, we have to think through them strategically. So, okay, I'm going to be intentional in the questions that I ask, like Christy was saying, like having an intentional friendship with them. Something that my youth pastor always said was, how's your mom and them? Like, how's your family? How can I be praying for you? What is something you're going through? And that's not something you can just ask somebody off the street, you may, and it could go south or it could be, a great conversation.
Could be.
But depending on your time frame, that determines your urgency for getting the gospel to them. So if it's like, oh, I've got 20 years with this person, I'll develop the relationship, invite them over to my house, hang out with them, whatever, gospel comes. But if it's like, oh, I've only got 6 months with this person, I'm going to do my best to interact with them any way that I can. After I meet them, follow up with them with a text. Hey, it was good talking to you. Would you want to grab coffee sometime?
Yeah.
And then almost just get into hey, something that helps me is I like to go to church, or just making your faith very casual. Sometimes we can really dress it up like it's super fancy. And we're talking about having faith in, the living God, right?
Yeah.
It is fancy, but making it approachable. Not I don't know, something that's lofty.
Yeah, and you used the word urgency. At least
Yeah.
I think you did. Maybe I just made it up in
I
my
did,
head.
I did,
So
yeah.
that's good. That's good. I think that's for both sides of it.
Yeah.
Be it a short term, hey, I'm only here for a certain amount of time versus long term. It all does come down to urgency.
Right.
And some of it, as I think on this, like used to do short term mission trips with our students, would take them up to Chicago, and often, day one, no great results. We're just out there knocking on doors, trying to get people to even know we're here. I remember often day two, one of our older students would always be like, what are we doing? This isn't worth it. We're only here for a week, blah, blah, blah. And reframing sometimes the short term for the urgency of, well, maybe our role isn't here for the harvest. We're here to plant seeds, or we're here to tend to the seeds that someone else has planted. And I think that's somewhat of what we have to look at. If we're only here for a short term, my role may simply be, I'm just here to put some seeds in the soil, and someone else is going to tend and harvest. Or maybe someone else has done the work as a student minister, and now my role is to try to tend to that and help cultivate that seed. And maybe I can be a part of the harvest, but maybe that'll come down the road. And then on the flip side, the long term is maybe we get to see all of that process. But even within that, we have to start the planting of seed, and that takes a requirement of urgency of, hey, I may be here another 10 years, but it may take 12 for this to come to fruition.
I literally had this conversation with a student yesterday. I went and got coffee with him. We were talking about, like some students who they claim to be Christians, they don't quite live the life that they should, and things like that. And I was talking about Jesus telling the parable of the four soils.
Yeah.
And he was telling it to farmers because, if a farmer plants one time in a field and it doesn't go well, he doesn't just say, oh, well, we'll never plant that field again. He's going to tend the field until it's good ground to plant in. And so every person's heart is almost like a landscape of, this person may have boulders, or this person may have a thicket that needs to be cut down, or this person may have fertile ground that needs to hear the gospel now. But it needs to be tended until the seed can actually penetrate.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a cool correlation.
It is. And our role is not, our job is not to save people.
Right.
I mean, we have to recognize that. And so many times we as Christians are like, my role is to get someone saved. No. Our role is to be faithful in sharing the gospel. It is the role of the Holy Spirit to save them. That is not our job. And so I think a lot of times that is a challenge of, well, if they don't come to salvation, what's the worth?
Right.
Well, it's worth the obedience to what we're called to.
Yeah.
And so, and that may just mean, hey, you're throwing some seed on the ground, and maybe it takes hold and maybe it doesn't. Or maybe that seed is starting to show a little bit of growth, and we're there to tend to it. All right, so let's talk about this. We've got a few minutes left. Barriers to this. Someone who is new might be going, I don't know where to go. I don't know who to talk to. I don't know how to talk to them. Someone who's been here a while may be going, I don't know where to go. I don't know who to talk to. I don't know, So how do we help folks overcome some of the barriers? And most of the time they're mental barriers. Maybe they're anxiety barriers, social barriers. So how do we help folks overcome barriers? What observations, what encouragement might you have for them?
I would encourage you to be vulnerable in that. Like, tell someone, hey, I want to do these things, but I'm having a hard time in these areas. Would you come with me? Like, would you help me do this? Or if you're the person where someone comes to you and they're like, hey, I'm having trouble doing these things, whatever, be willing to say, hey, you know what? I'll go with you to the coffee shop and we'll try to make a friend.
Yeah, so in the hiring process with you, Jimbo,
Yeah.
you talked often about, hey, sometimes we have to help college students know where to go
Oh,
to
yeah,
find
right,
people.
right.
And you had 3 categories within
Right,
that. Do
yeah.
you remember what they are?
Yeah, it's where they eat, work, and play. So if you want to meet, people, or at least meet people where they are, or new people, you go to where people eat, work, and play. So do they go to the bin and get the Philly cheesesteak? It was really good.
Are those cheese fries?
Yeah, right. Or do they go to the pickleball courts?
Wait, what is this bin you're talking?
The bin 612. You haven't been there?
No one has taken me there.
Oh, it's across the street from Two Brothers. I'll take you. We can go. It's good.
Got lunch plans today. All
It's
right,
good,
here we go.
right? Yeah.
You're buying or am I?
I don't know. We'll see.
We'll thumb wrestle.
Yeah.
Chris, you want to join us?
Sure.
Yeah, all right. you've got plans though. You're
I already
busy
have plans.
You're being Miss Christie with little lights.
Right. So where the e-worker play. So maybe they play pickleball. Like Savannah and I, we play pickleball just for exercise, really, but to meet people. Like we've met a lot of new people just playing pickleball.
Yeah.
And then where do they work? Like I like coffee, so I try to go to coffee shops in town, and I try to meet some of the workers because they're there all the time working. You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Christy, thoughts from someone who's been around for a while?
Yeah. So just a cool story.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, we had a lady show up in the Women's Bible Story Rise and Shine that I host on Thursday mornings. She just showed up.
Yeah.
She is from Louisiana, and her husband just happened to be working in Aberdeen. She looked for, places or events that were going on, and she just come through our door and said, "Hey, here I am just for the day." We may never see that lady again, but that spoke volumes to me, and that tells me it's important for us to just show up and be there with intentionality. Intentional just is like a flashing light to me.
Yeah.
In my role, and then in my family's role, and then our impact, where we are in the community and stuff.
And one thing I've discovered in my ministries is people are more open to you showing up than we think they are. Whether they're an introvert or not, it's one of these things of a lot of times just making the effort shows a willingness to, hey, I care for you. I want to be here for you. Who cares if you have a great conversation lined out for us? Who cares if you have all of the answers? A lot of times it's just, hey, show up. And the door usually opens up pretty quick for you of, oh, well, you're here. Come on. Come have that cup of coffee with me. Come join me over here. Or, hey, I've got this going on. Would you like to be a part of it? Or, hey, I've got this going on. Can I share it with you so you can pray for me? That kind of stuff. A lot of times it's just overcoming that barrier to, well, they don't want me to bother them. And I know I think that a lot about people sometimes because sometimes I don't want to be bothered, but that's just how it is. I think if the first part of it is you just got to show up.
Yeah.
Those 3 places I think you put are great. You add in with all of that, kids, and maybe it's where the kids playing within that dynamic. And then I think the second part of it is just taking a general interest. So many times we feel like, man, we have to have all the answers. Active listening. And we talked about this with Nathan some last week, and y'all haven't heard this one yet. But, really just taking time to hear, what's this person telling me? How are they? And so, but it all starts with, I'm here. I'm willing to be used. Send me, God. Isaiah 6, we're kind of paraphrasing that one.
Right.
All right. So as we think on this, last thoughts, we're about to wrap it up. Jimbo, anything that you would tell our listener? Look at that camera if you feel the need to. Give them your best smile and tell them, here's something I'd encourage you with if you're a person who's only in Starkville for a short period of time.
The word of advice I was given as a college student, and hopefully you never end up here, but the only time that you'll be able to be around the amount of people that are in Starkville is if you go to a penitentiary. Because there's just like that many people with you while you're in college, right? And so that's why I said hopefully you never end up in a penitentiary. But like, take advantage of the time that you have here now as a college student with all of the other college students on campus. Because I'm sure they probably feel the same way you do, where you're like, I don't want to talk to anybody, or I'm afraid to talk to somebody, and then you walk up and you're like, hey, I'm Jimbo. I just wanted to sit with somebody today for lunch, and it may seem weird at first, but you'll make a new friend. Do that every day.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Christy.
Living here for many years, Jason and I have joked, but it's very serious. Starkville to us has been like a revolving door. We've gotten close to so many friends, made so many friends, and had deep relationships with these people, and then they up and leave us.
Yeah.
We're here, but they up and leave us, and so we joke about making them sign a contract. If we're going to be friends, you got to sign a contract that you're not leaving. But anyway, my advice is love them while you got them.
Yeah.
I was in a classroom setting for a short 4 years. I didn't know that I was going to be there for such a short time and stuff, but just being a listening ear for those students and just loving them while I had them and giving them the opportunities and stuff was great.
That is good. That is good. So does that make you and Jason the center point of the revolving door, like the central post upon which everyone is moving?
Right.
I don't know
No,
where
no.
that analogy goes. It's
Center of the
better than
galaxy.
penitentiary, I'll tell you that. So it's good. So hey, let me get out of this because I don't know where I'm going. That music means we've come to the end. We want to say thanks for joining us today. Thanks to Jimbo and Christy for sharing your wisdom and interesting analogies, and it's good. Christy's off to go build her brand of little lights. Jimbo and I are off to go eat some lunch. So we want to say thanks for being here. Hope to see you again next week with Everyday Sense.